probably my favorite day. It should be a national holiday, and we should be off today. But I will say I did this yesterday. Joe and Lucy, I'm curious to know what your indulgences are.
Ooh.
Well, when I was pregnant like you, every day was eat what you want.
And that's allowed.
That's the best part about being pregnant.
You know, I have been trying to eat healthier lately. Here's my problem. Working on the news, we always point out whatever the national day is a lot, and all of them are National Donut Day, National Pizza Day, Eat What You Want Day. So if I followed the national days, I would be 5 billion pounds by now.
I know. Well, I did not get that memo because we are making a bit of a healthy dish today.
Yeah.
So you can like eat the whole thing.
Well,
today.
you know, who says eat what you want has to be unhealthy?
That's true.
Yeah. Maybe I do want to eat something healthy. This is a perfect recipe.
This is, and it's such a quick supper. We're going to make turkey meatballs with spinach and feta and make a creamy marinara sauce. So super easy, super delicious. You can eat the whole recipe if you're following today. So I just have 1 pound of ground turkey, and I just grated up some red onion. It's about 2 tablespoons, or you could, you know, finely chop it, but I just wanted to grate it up so it goes all throughout the meatballs. And I took 1 pack of frozen spinach, and I just thawed it out and just squeezed all of the water out. And I have a 1/4 cup of crumbled feta, and have some spices here. I just have some salt and pepper and garlic powder and oregano, and then just 1 egg. So that is it.
You know what? I really like this recipe. I think I'm going to try it out sometime.
Yeah.
What's interesting about it is kind of a fusion of Italian and Greek cuisine with the feta mix in there, with the turkey and the spinach, but also just the classic Italian tomato sauce as well.
So you can use whatever jar you know, is your favorite, and of course you don't have to put any half and half or cream in there, but I just like the addition of it, and it just made it you know, just kind of a little more of a treat when you're, you know, having a meatball. This would be something that you could just, you know, do carb-free. We don't have any breadcrumbs in here. We don't need it. They're going to stay together fine. And you could just, you know, have this over spaghetti squash, or just, you know, just as they are with some cauliflower mashed potatoes. Have you ever done that?
Yeah, we have actually. Really
I like doing
good.
it with meatballs. It's good.
I have not done it specifically with meatballs, and that's a good option to try. And if you do want to participate in the unhealthy version of Eat What You Want Day, you could put this over a huge bed of pasta.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, whatever you want to do, you can make this recipe your own, but it is fantastic, standalone by itself. So we're going to continue to work on these. Great healthy dish for you in the kitchen today, courtesy of Lucy Greer. Chelsea.
And welcome back to Studio 10. We are live with our friend Lucy today, making something healthier, easier. If you need something easy for dinner, this is it.
Yes, we are making our spinach and feta turkey meatballs, and we just mix those up really quickly, and they're in the oven. So we used our ground turkey, but of course you could do the same thing with beef. And we did 1 pack of frozen spinach, so we just thawed and took all the water out, some feta cheese, 1 egg to keep everything together, a little bit of red onion, and some spices. So we just rolled those up, and I have those in the oven, and it'll take about 25 minutes. I wanted to go ahead and get them in, and we're just going to use, I just wanted to use a jarred sauce today.
That's the way to do it. I
love the tomato basil sauces, and I usually use our store brand, our Best Choice tomato basil sauce, but I had this one on hand too. So any sauce that you like, and one trick, whenever I'm using a jarred sauce, I always put a little bit of water in the jar once you pour it out, because we don't want to waste any.
Sure.
So that was just about a 1/4 cup of water, and then we'll just shake it up. And this is completely optional, but I just wanted to do a little something different with our sauce, and just give it a little bit of a creamy feel. So I'm going to add 1/2 cup of that half and half, or you can use cream, or you know, whatever you have on hand. You know, maybe you have cream in your coffee, and I just wanted to have something a little bit, you know, make it a little bit of a silkier sauce.
Sure.
So I'm gonna do 1/2 cup.
This is a great, if you're into meal prepping too, I'm sure you could find a better sauce if you're looking for fewer calories or less sugar or something like that. But meatballs are just one of those things, like of course you can eat them by yourself, with spaghetti, with different noodles, over rice. It's just something you pop in the fridge and heat up whenever you need them.
Absolutely, and they freeze really well too. It's so funny. I feel like you know, people didn't used to really freeze that much. I mean, the bad thing about putting something in the freezer is, you know, you might forget about it. But most everything freezes well. My mom's always like, can I freeze this? I'm like, yes, you can freeze it. She asked the other day. We had poppy seed chicken the other day. She's like, can I freeze this? I'm like, yes. But this is a really good one to freeze and just thaw out. And if you're really with it, you know, especially if you, you know, live alone or you're like a 1 or 2 person household, to freeze things in individual, you know, meal sizes. I'm guilty of like freezing just like the whole thing, and then it's like, oh great, you know, now I have to have like my whole family over to like eat all this. So if you're gonna freeze, you know, you may think about doing individual portions.
Lucy's just keeping it real. I made taco soup probably about a month ago, and taco soup, one of the great things you can freeze, and I took it out of the freezer, no lies, it was probably 3 days ago, and Johnny, my husband, goes, didn't we eat that last month? And I was like, yeah, but it's frozen. He's like, and I'm like, no, like it's okay because it was frozen. Anyways, it went.
Like, well, you made me eat it for like a week last month, and now you want me to eat it for a week again.
Exactly. It's just the 2 of us. So needless to say, the taco soup went in the trash, and we went and got something to eat. But in his defense, it did look a little wonky.
Oh man.
So it was probably best. For
maybe we need to do a segment on like best freezer tips.
That's what we need to do.
That really would be good.
That's a good thing to do.
That.
Okay. Well, we're going to continue with this sauce before we go. What's going on at Greer's? Hey, I wanted to ask, last Friday, that tornado, if it was, we need to ask Michael, came by in your Greer store. Wanted to ask how that is going.
It did. Our store on South Broad Street, so not the one at Government and Broad, but further south, closer to the Pullmans down there. We really got lucky. We only had minimal damage to the Greer's grocery store, and then the Poor Family Dollar next door was, you know, kaput. But everybody, you know, there was nobody injured, there was nobody harmed. So we were back in operation later that day, and everything's fine. But people were so kind, you know, reaching out and making sure there was nothing that they could do to help. So it's just amazing what these, you know, natural disasters are horrible, and the only silver lining is that, you know, it always brings the community and people closer together. Yeah, well, thank you for asking.
Sure, I'm happy to hear about the store, and we're going to learn more about Greer's with Lucy and Joe, and also these turkey meatballs coming up. Joe.
Hi, we are back in the kitchen with Lucy from Greer's, working on a very healthy dish. This pasta sauce is kind of orangish more than reddish.
It is. I just added some half and half just to a jarred marinara sauce.
It was the cream that did it.
Yes.
So it was red.
It was red.
And then you added white.
Yes. So if people aren't familiar with the studio, Joe was just a few feet away.
Yeah.
So he just totally missed the adding of the half and half.
Yes.
But if you had cream or whatever, and of course you could make your own marinara sauce or, you know, whatever you wanted to do, but I was just taking a shortcut. And we made our spinach and feta and turkey meatballs, and we just pulled them out of the oven. And these were baking at 400 just for about 20-25 minutes. And now we're putting them down in our sauce, and we're just going to let them simmer for about 10 minutes just so they can absorb all that yummy flavor. And we talked a lot about, you know, different options. This would also be good on a sub. If you, meatball sub, or a little slider would be good too.
If you want like rolls or bread for a sub or a slider, can you get that at Greer's?
You certainly can. And if you wanted to use a King's Hawaiian roll, you know, we've talked about our daily deli deals before, you know, rotisseries are a certain day, fried chicken, and we have King's Hawaiian rolls actually on sale on Thursdays. So
every Thursday? King's Hawaiian is my favorite.
I know.
I love King's Hawaiian rolls.
Good.
Hey, you know what else I wanted to point out is that you talked at the beginning of this about how you can make these healthier by not adding breadcrumbs. You did not add breadcrumbs, but they are sticking together surprisingly well.
They are, and we just used 1 egg, and so this was just our, like I said, spinach and feta. I did a little bit of red onion in there, 1 egg, just some dried oregano, some garlic powder, salt and pepper. So it's a really simple, simple filling, but I never use breadcrumbs in my meatballs, you know, beef meatballs, any kind of meatballs. For me, just 1 egg always holds it together. So.
You're anti-breadcrumbs?
Anti-breadcrumbs. Usually because I don't have them.
Gotcha. Yeah, we whenever you make a recipe with breadcrumbs, we're always like, do we have some? How old are they? Do we need to get? It's always that question.
Totally.
I know it's not football season right now, but also this would be great to have out as a football appetizer for games and whatnot.
It would be. It would be really great. Now, you know, we're all gearing up for grilling season. I mean, the weather is here. You know, we have everything. All of our stores have meat cutters in our meat department still. We still cut all of our own meat and have the best options for grilling. And we always like to talk about, you know, our stores now that people are going to the island or going over to the Gulf. You know, wherever you're going, whether you're going to Florida or down to Dauphin Island, you'll pass one of our stores. So if you haven't tried us before, it's kind of a good time to try us.
Keep that in mind for all of your grilling needs, for all your different cuisines. You can find it at Greer's, including everything you need for these spinach and feta turkey meatballs. They look so good, Lucy. When these cool down in a second, I'm going to try one.
Okay, good.
Yeah, don't want to burn my mouth off. Lucy Greer, thank you so much. Good to see you as always. Chelsea?